Congratulations, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody officially and open the Cobra Group European Convention for 2010. You know, as Michelle rightfully pointed out, today is a first. It's the first, obviously, for the XL Center to have a convention of this nature in this room. It's a first because, obviously, we're now moving back to London, where we've been for many, many years in terms of having the conventions. And there's also another number of firsts that are going to be taking place during the course of today. There's no question, when you look back at the last 23 years at our company, and to see where the company is now and how far we've grown and where we've got to, that it's an amazing story. From starting off in a flat originally in Manly Beach in Australia, to then moving out of Australia and coming to the UK in 1988, and then working actually out of a flat here for the first 6 months in Paddington in London. In fact, it was number 145 Gloucester Terrace, if anybody knows where that is. And interestingly, when you watch how businesses grow and evolve and you see how far we've been able to get, it's easy to sit here and think that, the business started as we are today, or the business is, kind of landed this way. But it never was like that. Everything we've done and everything we've strived to do over the last 23 years has always been with a philosophy about making partnerships, about creating success not only in our own people, but in the people around us. We look at our clients as our partners, and we see ourselves not as just extensions of the community, but members of that community. Everything we do, whether it's our activities in fundraising or the commercial clients we work with, whether it be in energy, insurance, telecommunications, it goes on and on and on, in sports, in car care, you name it, is all about saving people money and trying to provide better value for people that are our neighbors, are the people that we live around every single day. But the other thing that's always driven Cobra is this sense of opportunity, that word that gets used every day and gets used over and over and over again in offices, in bulletins, in so many different facets. We use the word opportunity, and often it's very rarely defined. And to us, opportunity means choice. It means making decisions and making good decisions. And sometimes it means taking risks. There's no question that when this business started, people thought it was a huge risk. My parents, who I only saw last weekend, still to this day, 23 years later, look at me with that kind of curious eye that only parents have and go, is everything still okay? Are you sure? How's business? How's it going? Almost as if they're waiting for me to one day to confirm their long-held suspicion that this was never going to work. And interestingly, when I do see my parents and various people, it's amazing the response that you get. In the business community, when we talk to clients, when we talk to people all over the world, now, after so long in the industry, Cobra is recognized as the world leader in what they do. And there's no question that every single person in this room has made a massive contribution to make that happen. And remember, there's another 8,000 people that aren't here today that are spread all around the world in 24 other countries that we're in that aren't with us, that we will be seeing some of them in September, some we'll see later this year. And as all of us travel to our own respective countries or countries around the world, it's inevitable that these rallies and meetings will take place in lots of different places. But as I said, in the business community, it's interesting how we're so well received now, how the illegitimacy of this business that I started in 20 years ago has now completely turned on its head, and now direct sales and face-to-face selling is seen in many cases as not only the preferred method of meeting your objectives as a company or reaching your target audience, but it's also seen as one of the best ways for companies to do it in a cost-effective and very efficient way. We've seen this more and more and more in the last 2 to 3 years as the global recession has bit deeper and deeper, that instead of becoming less popular, we become more popular. Not just because we're out in the field doing the sales, but also because of the way we work with our clients, and that, like you guys, Cobra works on a performance basis. If we don't deliver customers, we don't get paid. Unlike a traditional advertising agency, which says we're going to charge you X amount of millions to put up so many ads on TV and so many this and so many that, and no guarantee they're going to work, every single customer we deliver, we get paid for it. If we deliver none, we get paid none. So we live in a parallel world. Cobra's efforts, the pressures that are on us to deliver every day are exactly the same as the pressures that are on you guys. And I think what's important about that is not only has it made us a better business, but it's also made us a very popular business and a very competitive business. Because as companies are struggling more and more and more in ever increasingly competitive business environments, and also as they're competing more and more within the economy and people trying to manage their money better, inevitably companies like ours come into the fore. We become more popular and more accepted because not only do we get them their business in a better way, but we do it in a way where we enhance the value of their brand, we make their companies more valuable in so many other ways that sometimes are difficult to measure day to day. And that's why we've continued over the last 23 years to constantly reinvest in what we do, to spend more money investing in training, to spend more money flying people around, more money in overrides, more money in incentives. And when everybody else was cutting their budgets 2 or 3 years ago, we did the complete reverse. We invested more in the training elements. We put money into the fundraising initiatives to manage our territories better, to make sure customers got a better service. We've put more money into our conventions. We've put more money into our owners' meetings, into our rallies. And in a few minutes, I'm going to unveil a few things. They're going to show you the huge investment we've made in the company itself to take us forward for the next 25 years. The simple matter of fact is that we're all here today because we all believe in one thing, and that is we believe in the ability to make a difference to our own lives. That's what drove me when I started this. It wasn't because I had a dream or that I ever thought we'd be this big. In fact, lots of us have known each other for 20-odd years, and we never thought it was even possible to get past 20 people in a room, let alone to have 2,000 or 12,000 like we do today. And I think that's what's hard for people to do. Even now, no matter how big the company is, no matter how successful we become, the hardest thing for anybody in business to do is have vision. Because the problem is you're looking down a very, very, very dark tunnel. And sometimes, even today, when you meet your leader and they say, where do you want to be in 6 months? Or where do you want to be in a year? Or where do you want to be in 2 years? It's very difficult to visualize something when you're currently so caught up with the day-to-day of running your business or being in the field or ringing the bell or looking after your team or managing a part of the company that you're involved in, that trying to see 6 months, sometimes even 6 hours away seems like it's a million miles away. But all I can tell you is stick with your goals. Never, ever, ever give up on what you're doing. Never, ever, ever say die to your objectives. It may be that you achieve your objectives without Cobra, and whether you're here for the next 5 years, or whether you're here for 5 weeks, or whether you're here for 5 more days, we hope that what Cobra teaches you is that if you dream about something and you're willing to dedicate and focus yourself on something, anything in life is achievable. There are people in this room, lots of them, in fact hundreds of them, that are living lifestyles and doing things in their lives and for their families that they never thought possible ever, ever, ever. Not because they were stupid people, not because they were lazy, but because the opportunity to do something where they could drive themselves, where they could set their own benchmarks, simply doesn't come on very often. Most companies, do not allow people to travel through them at the rate that they want to. We're all discriminated against, whether it be our ages, whether it be our sex, whether it be, we're married or unmarried or have kids or don't have kids. Some of it's racial. There's lots and lots of discrimination in the real world. Cobra's system is a pure system. That means if you build your team and build your organization, it doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 68. It has no influence on where you're going to be long term. What you do in the field every day, how you act, you control your own destiny. And that means that the people that are getting up today, not only are they the pace setters of this company, but they're here because they're the best there is. And they're up at this podium today because they've achieved things that in many cases they probably never even thought they could achieve themselves. You guys have a unique opportunity in life, not just here, to be able to do things that your parents and my parents never dreamed of. The opportunities available in business around the world now are infinite. And Cobra, no question, wants to participate in that. The fact that this year alone, remember, we've already opened Hong Kong this year. We've got people in this room, 4 of our most senior owners from the UK, going to America in September, the biggest market in the world. And that's opening in September. We also, remember, are opening up one of the biggest and fastest growing markets in the world, which is Brazil, and that opens up in September of this year. That's going to be huge. And we've also signed a joint venture with a direct sales company based in Russia that's been there for about 15 years now, that has 8,000 people in the field just in Russia alone, of which Cobra has now just become its full partner in the direct sales and services sector in what also is one of the world's most exciting places. I talked to Steve Satsford only yesterday, who tells me that as of, I believe, in another month, we're opening up in China. And that's going to be incredible as well. So Cobra, rather than, amazing.